expected it to, as if the night that had torn her apart might have left its scars here too. But it looked just the same, save the fine layer of ash coating the wreckage. The silence was the worst. It reminded her too much of the terrible silence of that night, the pounding storm and soaring song snatched away as soon as the price was paid, leaving her grasping at empty air. Asya used to like the quiet, the soft hush of twilight, the moment when the earth held its breath between night and day, the hopeful silence of dawn when the forest still slept, all its potential standing in wait. But not any more. She'd been left in an eternal, empty quiet. A lonely quiet. As she moved through the ruin, eddies of ash whirled in her wake, odd ghosts of the firebird shadowing her steps. The Strachey had searched it, of course, combed through the still glowing embers and crumbled stone for remains. 13 bodies, all victims of the firebird's wrath, all members of Fyodor's religious sect set on destroying her. But no hint of either of the people Asya so desperately needed. The scholars and cabinet and courtiers had any number of theories, whispered too loudly as Asya passed. Rumours of flames that blazed so hot they consumed even bone, of the firebird's anger that had turned on her own sister. Asya had not indulged them, of course, had refused to give them any more fuel to destroy her sister's memory, no matter how much they asked or demanded explanation. She'd hoped it might be easier to see the Elmer in the light, give her more chance to banish the sharp memories and suffocating nightmares. She was wrong. There was no hiding here, no ignoring the ring of scorched stone where the cage had stood atop the half-crumbled altar, no tearing her eyes from the charred remains buried beneath piles of rubble and broken saints. No way for her to stop her feet from walking toward that spot in the shadow of the altar. She knelt down, pressing a hand to the unmarked ground. It felt warm still, despite the cold bite to the air, as if the stone held the memory of that moment just as close as Asya did. The stark change from before to after, her sister slipping through her fingers. Izaveta's strangled confession shouted into the storm, the admission that her spell had killed their mother, that she'd been the one Asya had searched for all through the mourning days. Then Izaveta had paid with her life. Asya bit the inside of her cheek, her eyes smarting. She couldn't cry here, not now. So she began to search. Methodically at first, pushing aside debris and carving a neat line through the ruins. Her movement slowly became more desperate, a frantic beat increasing as she went. She tore her nails bloody, soot streaking her hands as she searched until finally there was nowhere left to look. No sign of a body, no ash where Izaveta had been consumed, no remains the Strachey might have missed. Asya sank to her knees in the middle of the cavernous space, the falcon's black wing still visible through the collapsed dome. Its shadow flitted across the cracked ground, the only living thing here. She didn't know whether to feel triumphant or despairing. Nothing meant there was still a possibility. She blinked back tears. This should feel like a triumph. It meant there was weight to her theory. It meant Isa might not be really gone. If she'd found a body here, there would be no denying it. But nothing was also a blow. No hint she could follow or new information that might have given her answers. Just a blank, endless nothing. She was in the same place she had started. Asya put a hand in her pocket, touching the rough edge of parchment that was the other reason she was here. Her eyes roved the hollow shadows. Where should she leave it? The altar? Hidden from prying eyes? But she'd know to look there. Juliana had never returned to the palace. Asya had hoped at first.